2414 is a podcast about finding hope and common ground through casual conversation. Like the friends on the road in the New Testament, in Luke chapter 24, verse 14, we want to walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. Thanks for walking with us.
Hey, that's Shane. I'm Dan.
Hey.
Welcome to 2414. We are a couple of guys who work at a church who care about each other and enjoy processing through life and talking about stuff that's going on and taking time to check in.
We talk about stuff that's going on.
We talk about stuff. That's our what's 2414 about? It's a podcast about stuff that one or both of these guys may have some interest in. No expertise necessarily, but some rambling stories.
We're a very specific podcast.
We have a niche. We like to laugh. We like each other. We like that you take some time to join us on the journey.
As you can tell, we're very different from many podcasts.
Like in good ways? What do you mean by that?
No,
we don't have a producer.
We don't.
We don't have a technical director. That's you. You are the technical director. You are the producer.
We create things together and then we ship it out.
We hit record, we hit stop, we hit post.
Pretty much.
And you've stumbled upon us, for better or for worse. We often like to begin each episode with highs and lows, just celebrating and grieving, sharing things that are exciting or celebratory or burdensome from kind of just our life. It could be from an hour ago or a minute ago or 10 days ago, but it's kind of a lingering thing, good or bad. And so, Shane, do you want to kick us off for lows and highs, and then kind of a question of the day to just check in with each other? Where are you at with Christmas this year?
All right.
We are currently, as this is being recorded, we are 19 days away, and as church workers, that feels terrifying, both professionally and personally, realizing, oh no, I got to do the other stuff that I'm not paid to do.
Yeah.
So highs and lows, and where are you at with Christmas 19 days away?
Oh yeah. So hi, yeah. I'll highs. Lauren and I had a pretty eventful weekend this weekend. We got some recording in for a song we'll be releasing. I have no time frame, I think, at the moment as for when that might be released.
Is this Shore Lane, the two of you, your duo, or is this part of something else?
This is part of, with some other church workers. Lauren and I were at a conference retreat back before summer, I guess. And we coming from that retreat, we ended up, we're only 6-7 of us there total, but we ended up writing a song together. It just kind of happened. And then many months later now, we're like, hey, let's make this real. Let's record it. And so we were in that process of recording it and making it happen. And so we've recorded, and I think just have a few other steps along the way to get that released. So that's fun.
Nice.
And then the other high, Lauren and I finally, after over a month, it was 2 months, we finally worked out again just to try to claw back into the routine of working out or whatever that might look like.
You lose it so fast.
It was rough. It was rough for me. I just felt disgusting. I was like, oh.
Do you feel like you have that memory, like a light at the end of the tunnel of I know this is the worst, but I'm confident I'll get past it? Or is it just, this is the worst and why should I go back ever again?
No, it's definitely there. The glimmer is there, but I wanted... For myself, I want to ease into it because, it just felt so disgusting. Okay, I know I'm not going to be back to where I was when I ended. So, just clawing our way back to that routine. But it was good. I feel sore and it feels great.
Cool.
My body feels actually like it did something. But low is, I feel behind in my planning of church planning. There's plenty more emails I got to send out to coordinate things, and still organizing the music to send out. It's a lot of moving steps to get the services planned for Christmas Eve. So very much waiting on responses, and then reaching out and then just coordinating and planning. So I'm behind, but I just kind of press on, and it'll be it's Christmas season. It's busy for me, and that's nothing new.
This as you described that, it made me think about how my wife must feel whenever we do anything as a family. Because I'm like, all right, I'm ready. And she's often like, I'm getting 4 people ready. Yeah. Like, I'm not just like packing my suitcase. I'm making sure that each of these 3 kids who are not necessarily willing participants in this endeavor are also ready. So, I just show up for Christmas Eve, got my sermon. I'm good. Shane's like, I am working with a dozen volunteers who have also lives going on. So thank you for that. Charlotte, if you're listening, thank you for doing all the things when working with other people as well.
Yeah. So it's Christmas. That's planning.
Okay. So where are you at personally with Christmas?
Personally,
decoration, shopping,
it's kind of
mentally?
flipped from last year. Last year, I mean, well, in planning in the service and everything, I was able to get that done and felt in a better spot. But then my personal life last year was just so behind on Christmas. I was like, oh, I still gotta get gifts and send things out and plan for Christmas. This year I feel much further ahead in my personal life of Christmas.
Okay.
Of just getting gifts. Like I got them well in advance to
Wow. I haven't started. Wow.
I don't know. It's insane.
go.
I've never gotten this far ahead for it. So Lauren and I have our decorations up. We got them up like a week and a half ago, and personally, I feel planned and ahead for that. So that's good. So hopefully that'll ease my mind a little for my job Christmas planning.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I feel I'm in a good spot for the first time for personal life.
For the first time, Shane is in a
Ever.
good spot in his personal life. It's a big moment.
Big moment.
You're here to witness it.
Yeah. So that's me.
Cool. Thanks.
Rambled. How about yourself?
I got a couple lows, one past and one imminent.
Mm-hmm.
So my recent low is just reflecting on my own, what do you call it, demeanor, is feeling a bit discouraged, and then, then being disappointed that I felt discouraged. So one of the phrases I use with my kids a lot is trying to be solution focused. And I think it's really easy for me to see that in other people. I'm like, all right, here's an obstacle. Let's do this. That didn't work. Let's try something else.
Yeah.
I was meeting with a local elementary school person even just yesterday, and I was like, okay, what can we do? How can we support? How can we be community? And they're like, well, we'd have to solve this. I'm like, yeah, we'll worry about that later. Like, but what should we do? Let's come up with the idea, and then we'll troubleshoot all the problems. And I just realized I've been kind of pouty and this isn't working. Nothing's going to work. What's the point?
I know that feeling.
As opposed to all right, cool, that didn't work. What else? Or even if it's not working yet, that's the right thing. Stay the course.
Yeah.
So seeing that in myself was like, oh, that's something I kind of pride myself on, is being solution focused,
enthusiastic.
Let's get after it.
Yeah.
And so recognizing that hasn't been my strength or default mode recently is that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
But acknowledging it, I think, is a good step.
Yeah. Knowing that you're in that. Yeah.
My preemptive low is I'm catching a flight tomorrow, and it's wheels up at 6 a.m. And so, we're boarding at 5:25, and here in Seattle, if you go to the airport, they have a spot saver thing. Yeah. It's like Fast Pass, where you can get a reservation for the security line.
All it is just requiring to plan ahead.
Yeah, except that they don't open till 6.
Oh,
so it's no good for my flight.
Oh.
And so there are a bunch of flights that go out at the same time as soon as the airport opens. So not only is it an early flight.
Does the airport close?
Well, I just meant the flights. They're not going. They're not departures at 3 a.m. Maybe cargo, but there's not passengers.
Not tip. Well, maybe. I don't know.
So even though it's this awful flight, you can't be like, okay, well, thankfully it's 5 a.m, so nobody's going to be there. No, everybody's going to be there. So we got to get there 2 hours early, which means we're arriving at 4, which means we're leaving our house at 3:30. So I'm waking up at 3.
God.
So that's just awful.
It just sounds. Why even sleep at that point?
So that's a preemptive low. A high is it's kind of related to yours, is I have been working out.
Oh, nice.
And I feel like a runner again.
Yay.
So here at St. Luke's, we're in the middle of a giving campaign called Forward Together, where we're trying to pay down $100,000 toward our mortgage principal and have 400 individuals participate. And Pastor David and I each committed, how can we have some incentives to make this fun? So Pastor David is going to record our video announcements wearing a costume, a different costume for every 40 people that commit. So we're going to see Pastor David dressed up like, I don't know, a clown or a giraffe or the green giant or something.
Something ridiculous.
Throughout the next year. And my commitment was I will run 1 mile for every $1,000 donated up to $100,000, which would be 100 miles. And so made the crazy commitment. We're up to about $70,000, so that's 70 miles. So I am training and preparing this May. There's a 100-mile run that I'm going to be ready, willing, and perhaps able to do.
Is it an actual race?
Yeah. Race isn't the right word for me. It's an organized run.
Yeah,
it is
organized. That's what I meant.
People will be racing it.
Okay.
My goal, as at least several months out, is I think 24 hours would be a good goal. So if I can run 100 miles in less than 24 hours.
That sounds insane to me. Get it at least 24, 23 if we're lucky. Like,
that'd be great. Yeah.
That's insane to run that long.
So I've been training. Did 6 miles last night, 6 miles first thing this morning. I've got my whole training schedule planned out. I've got a couple overnight runs planned because
this is for the summer?
It's going to be in May, Memorial Day weekend.
Not even summer.
Yeah, I got a few months away. So looking at my calendar going, when am I not preaching that I could run like all of Friday night into Saturday and not be totally shot?
Yeah.
Because if you don't practice running at night, I think that's pretty demoralizing to run just through the dark by yourself for 8 hours.
I mean, I think most people would think that way about running in general.
So I'm feeling like a runner, feeling in shape, feeling good.
Wow, that just blows my mind.
So that's my high.
To think about 100 miles.
Yeah, we'll see. I've never done it. The farthest I've ever run at one time is 62 miles.
Just 40 or 38 more.
Yeah, just a marathon and a half more from the farthest I've ever gone.
Oh man!
So we'll see.
As long as you're moving the whole time, the details, like the advanced whatnots of running that long.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll tap you, Shane. You can come. It's a 10-mile loop. So if you want to come out and do a 10-mile loop with me,
oh man,
can you get 10-mile ready in 5 months?
In 5 months, sure.
Like a 12-minute mile pace, like just shuffling,
12-minute
like
mile.
jogging.
Yeah.
All right.
So maybe like a 15-minute pace.
Yeah, I'll put you down for the 3 a.m. shift.
Well, maybe hold on now.
I'm going to be going slow at 3 a.m. 15 minutes is a great pace. You can hike that.
Oh yeah, I'll hike.
All right.
Okay, but where are you in your Christmas planning then?
Oh, Christmas. We have a tradition at my house that my wife hangs the lights outside.
Yeah, that's right.
She often conscripts our kids or her sister or my brother. All kinds of people have hung our Christmas lights. So lights are up. Looks good. Nativity scene is up.
Nice.
We got this nativity scene at Costco a few years ago, and Mary burnt out, like the bulbs went out. And so to replace that part was this months or years long process. So everybody's up and running. They're firing on all cylinders. Blew down a couple days in the windstorm, but back up. The nativity
they're
scene
alive.
is up. Inside, we're getting a few decorations out. We borrowed an artificial Christmas tree this year.
Whoa! Can you guys do that?
We're seeing it out. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings.
You guys will get a tree on the 23rd.
Yeah, or the 26th. Going super sale. Yeah. So pretty cheap. And we, so lights are up outside. We have not decorated the tree yet. It came with lights, so we plugged it in and it's illuminated now. Mm-hmm. I have not started any Christmas shopping for anyone. My big brother's birthday was just a month ago. Yeah. So I feel like I just shopped for him. My dad's birthday was a
month ago.
Yeah. My dad's birthday is a couple of weeks ago. I feel like I just shopped for him.
Oh yeah.
My sister-in-law's birthday is the week before Christmas. So it's a lot of shopping in a 2-month window. So I haven't thought about it. No lists made.
Yeah.
They all understand if they get it second week of January, they're content.
Just get them some scented pine cones. That's
It's true. Well, I did sign her Christmas letters. Or like we send out a Christmas card to however many cards Charlotte puts in front of me.
Got that.
Got those all signed.
All right, you've got something.
So some progress.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Nice. Nice.
All right, so here at St. Luke's, we've got a couple teaching series going on related to Christmas. Sunday mornings, we're looking at Christmas is for adults. And last week, we looked at the experience of nostalgia, how adults kind of, for many, the more Christmases you have behind you, the more nostalgic you get. Wednesday evenings, we're looking at the fact that Christmas is for kids. Kids experience Christmas differently. So today, we're talking about snow days. Whether it's a day home from school or just snow, different experiences with snow around the Christmas time.
Yeah, which means something entirely different wherever you go. What blew my mind in Washington means this snow day here means something very different yet similar than as it would in Wisconsin.
Yeah, that reminds me of Virginia as well.
Virginia, does it snow in Virginia?
No, but if they tell the public that it might, it's mayhem. It's just like people are looting the grocery stores.
There's no toilet paper.
No bread. Yeah, it's bread, milk, water, beer. Like people, it's just like it's Costco on the day before Thanksgiving for every day leading up to when they said it might snow. And even if it snows, it's going to be an inch or two. So Virginia, they are phobic, at least Williamsburg area, Richmond area.
Oh,
but you grew up in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And are they getting dumped on right now, or they just thought they might?
To be honest, I have no idea. I have not heard how Wisconsin weather is at the moment.
I thought they're predicting like 3 feet of snow or something.
Probably. I mean, I could Google it right now and just check. Like, I don't know. All I know is the weather going on where I'm living.
Okay.
I haven't touched base with family members.
So what were Christmases like as it related to snow for you growing up?
Yeah, so this might be a bombshell to people who either grew up in like the South or Washington, maybe for that matter. It was equal split for me as a child. We had snow days. Mm-hmm. We had days where it just dumped snow, and you had to cancel it or have it be an early dismissal. Like it started dumping snow in the middle of school and like, hey, parents, come up, pick your kids up now, otherwise they're going to be trapped here, kind of thing,
Yeah.
But it was either an equal split, a snow day or a cold day, where it's just so cold.
Cancel
they're like,
school because it's too cold.
Cancel everything. You're just like,
it.
yeah, your gas line's going to freeze. Don't try to leave your house this day. It's just crazy to think about. Like, that's the environment I grew up in, and that was normal. Like, yeah, it's negative 15 today. Stay inside. Don't go out. Like, that's not including wind chill. Like, I hate that.
Yeah,
like,
your face hurts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
I can't breathe.
My the thing that stuck with me as driving to school as a teen or like as a child walking outside on those super cold days. Like, I remember it being so cold. I felt bad for rocks. Like,
you're so sympathetic.
It's
Shane.
so. I mean, like, obviously,
that's deep empathy.
Rocks
right
have no feelings, but it's so cold outside. I'm like, how is concrete just
that's
like
awesome.
existing? How are rocks just not like dissolving somehow in this bitter cold, where like a strong gust will shatter them? Like, they're. Oh, it's so cold and disgusting.
Let me go back. You said it dumps snow.
Yes.
That means different things in different parts of the country.
Yes.
In Wisconsin, if you had a solid snowstorm, measurements or perspective, what does that look like?
Yeah, it's got to be a lot of snow, like a verified blizzard, pretty much. Because in Wisconsin, everyone and their neighbors has plows. Everyone's got salt in their garage. Everyone's equipped for snow. Like unlike Washington, like, if you ask somebody, do you have a snow shovel? I feel like 50-50 people might, they might not. Like,
Yeah.
Like, it snows, but not enough to justify buying salt, buying like a shovel, buying, what you need to survive like constant snow. But in Wisconsin, like, you're equipped for it. Everyone's got a snow machine.
So like 5 inches, 10 inches, 17 feet. What happens if there's a big storm?
Yeah, I would say if it's the rate at which it's coming down matters. So like it could
visibility is a problem.
Visibility, and if it's like 6 inches but spread out throughout the day, I think you might be able to make it work. But if it's 6 inches in like an hour,
right? Okay.
Oh yeah, we gotta
shut it down.
Yeah, shut it down. But even then, like, it still doesn't help because I remember having early dismissal days. So like we had snow days, and, we wake up in the morning, like before school starts, you're watching the news, seeing the names, like.
This is before the internet. Well, at least for me.
Yeah.
So I went to Parkway School District.
Yeah.
And so there was just the ticker on the bottom.
Yeah.
And you had to wait forever.
And meanwhile, they're just talking about nonsense on the news.
Yeah, the news is going on, and you got to wait. You can't just look for you can't go online. You got to wait for it. And I remember all the saints. St. Mary's Catholic, St. Joseph this, St. this. I'm like, you're slowing everything down. Get out of the way.
All these tiny schools.
We had to wait forever, and you couldn't blink.
So my school experience watching those sliders on the bottom of the screen, I went to such small schools growing up. I never got to see my school on it. We just had to wait for the public school in the area, and we're like, well, if they're closed, then we're closed because we
follow
often
somebody else.
Yeah, we follow what they do. So it was always sad never like seeing your actual school. It was like, oh, and there's I can't even remember what school was the closest one. Like we'd see like, oh, Slinger School's closed. What about us? But then there were those terrible days. I don't know if you had this, where it's like, oh, this school's closed, and like, no, actually, your school's still open though. Like what?
Yeah, seeing everybody else.
Yeah, like we're 5 miles away. Like how is that fair? Like no, you still gotta go to school. And those were the worst. When you had to go to school and your friends, no, they got to play video games all day. They got to play in the snow. No, you had to learn.
You had to learn.
Oh, that was worse than just like, I'd rather have us all go than partly. No, that's not fair.
It's awesome.
Yeah, no, the plenty of snow days. Yeah, where. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I've lived in a number of different places that experience winter and snow very differently. So in St. Louis, we had a lot of snow. So, we might get 9 inches overnight, which is, that's a big deal. But also, similar to what you're describing, it was so cold.
Yeah.
And St. Louis would also get ice. Like it would be like freezing rain, but the rain would be falling and blowing sideways, so that if your car was parked outside, there might be like half an inch of ice just on one side of your car.
Just on one side.
Yeah, like you just, that side was inaccessible. And so you might try to get in from the other side, and you're like kicking open the door or turning the defroster on.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of ice. So I remember one year, my dad was going to get the newspaper back when there was a newspaper before the internet, because I'm old. And he stepped on the driveway and immediately slid down to the bottom. And it was.
So you guys had a slope driveway?
Yeah, it wasn't like crazy steep. It was, I don't know.
But enough like if on ice, you could.
Yeah, so if you can think of like a handicap accessible ramp in today's world, it was slightly steeper than that.
Okay.
So a little steeper than that.
Yeah.
Maybe twice as steep as a standard ADA ramp.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad falls down and just slides like to the street. And then my mom was like, boys, come look. your dad's fallen.
Help me laugh.
And so we're just like in the window inside pointing and laughing. And he can't get up. And eventually, like, we throw him a rope because he can't get up. It's just ice. It's just a sheet of ice. You can't walk uphill in ice.
Yeah.
Like if you just have your tennis shoes on, like, and he's got the old dad, like the white dad tennis shoes, just they're smooth on the bottom.
You couldn't walk up on the side like on the snow part to
no we're just all laughing in tears.
How much would you hate your family if that was you?
It was good times. we had another ice storm. I think it was a different year. So we had snow already. I'd guess there about 4 or 5 inches of snow. And then we had a freezing rain storm that night, which is hard to describe because in a lot of places rain would melt the snow, but in St. Louis, it could be cold, warm enough to rain, but cold enough that it would freeze.
Yeah.
So what happened is we had this 5 or so inches of snow and then like a 1/4 inch of ice on that. Mm-hmm. So we're a hockey family. So we were like, dude, we can play. So we laced up, put our skates on, and we were skating around the neighborhood.
Like on the street?
Yeah, on the street and the yards, like up and down hills. It was like X Games on ice.
That sounds like so much fun.
It was incredible. Yeah, we had our sticks and pucks. So we're just playing hockey in like these acres of yards, what felt like, just passing it and had goals set up.
Wow.
So we were, skating on the yard. Just the world was frozen. The whole world was our ice rink.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
That was incredible. When I lived in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, when we first got there, they told us it doesn't snow that much here. Mm-hmm. And then I think one night we got 4 feet of snow.
4 feet?
Yeah. And then we got like a couple more feet throughout that week.
Oh my.
And so I've got pictures of me walking, and it's just like up to my shoulders.
Is that shoulders of accumulative or like with
at least
plows?
No, just the snow. So
okay.
So the first day I'm trying to shovel, it's at least over my waist. And we don't have a snowplow. We have one shovel. We've got just like the wide shovel.
And that was at the beginning of your marriage too,
yeah.
right?
We just our first call just got to Coeur d'Alene, and we had one shovel, and you couldn't actually shovel. It was like you were digging. So you would get 8 or 10 inches and then hurl it, and then 8 or 10 inches down and hurl it.
You couldn't start from the bottom.
No. It was just like you would get one shovel full of snow, like 8 inches at a time, just to excavate.
Yeah.
And then you're moving it. But at some point, both sides of my driveway were too high. I couldn't even throw the snow over it. Because I couldn't push it. It was just too much snow.
Yeah.
And so if I threw it the one way, the wind would just blow it right back in my face.
That's the worst.
So then when I'm excavating, I had to take my shovel full, and instead of throwing it to like the right side of the driveway, like picture I'm on the right side of the driveway going down, but the wind's coming from that side. So I'd have to take my shovel full and like walk all the way over to the left side and throw it over the growing wall, like one shovel full at a time for a 2-car driveway, 4 feet of snow.
Just give up. Like it's just that's it. You're stuck.
It was roofs were collapsing that year all over town.
You got to shovel your roof.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
So I don't have a shovel. I mean, I don't have anything, like I don't have any extendo thing.
That's right. Yeah, you guys didn't have a ladder until late in your marriage.
We didn't have a ladder. So I'm hearing these reports about roofs collapsing. I don't know what to do. And so we've got this picture of me like trying to climb on top of the snow because it's it's several feet deep in the yard.
Yeah.
And I've got my hockey stick and I'm just like swinging at the snow as it's overhanging because it's accumulating, and then as it kind of melts, it comes down, but then it freezes, and so it stops, and so it's blocking the snow from coming down because there's like this snow curb around the perimeter of the roof line where like the gutters are. And so I'm just swinging my stick to break this. And then I make contact, right? And so it's working, but every time I do it, I'm creating this avalanche of snow coming down and sliding off the roof, which is the goal. I'm trying to get the snow off the roof. But I have a 5-foot hockey stick, so I'm on my tippy toes with the edge of the stick, barely able to reach the roof. And when I get good contact, the snow comes flying into my face.
This is
my first year in Coeur d'Alene. Here we go.
Like welcome,
awesome.
Welcome to Coeur d'Alene. Was there anything like that? Like year?
No, I had never experienced anything quite like that.
Okay.
I mean, we had more snow like that afterwards, but that was my first experience with feet of snow at a time.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had snow that bad. Like, that was a thing with Wisconsin. Like, you could get decent snow, like. But never, I don't think I've ever had snow in my life where it was just the accumulative snow feet, was feet and feet and feet. Like most max, I think, was maybe like 3 feet.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Where you see a lot of snow or on the snow banks.
Where it got plowed into, or the wind, the drifts of wind or the snow plows had moved it.
Yeah. So I don't know if so that's a fond childhood memory for me, are snow banks, because the church the school church I grew up in had a big like parking lot, wide, just very big square basically. So there's a lot of surface area, and the plow just basically they just have to push it to like the alignment, like the outskirts of the parking lot. And so these snowbanks are like 15 feet high. They're huge. Yeah. These massive mountains of snow. And for recess, you got to play on them. Like awesome. You just got to play it. Like, and so like kids would make like forts. They dig into these snowbanks. They'd make slides out of them. Like it was like so much like, even like as an adult, I would love to play on a snowbank. Like you get to climb them and then you get to jump off of them, and it's snow. So you could dive into it and just like hit, like it's cushiony. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah. Like, so that was super fun and fond for me. Like just seeing those huge snowbanks, just because the snow just had to go somewhere.
So I remember sledding during elementary school. It was a different world, Shane. We didn't have regulations and safety and legal concerns.
Yeah, I was on the tail end of it, I think.
What a sad world at times to think about what it is now. That's okay. But our elementary school had some big hills in the back. Yeah. And I remember one time it was snow and the teacher's like, we should go out and play in the snow. And so we made our way outside and we picked up the doormats that had the rubber lining on the bottom, all around the building. Like our church has a lot of businesses. Yeah. And you just kind of roll up the front and you got a sled because the rubber was great.
The teachers were okay with that?
Yes. Or like if we didn't have enough of those, we went to like the janitor's closet and just got plastic trash bags.
Trash bags,
just like this trash bag toboggan thing.
What about trash can lids? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I don't think we did that. Oh. But this was like during school hours. We went and rounded up the doormats and trash bags and went sledding.
That's amazing. If Lauren were here, she would tell a story. Her and her family would use baking sheets.
Oh, okay, like classic, like a lunch trays kind of style.
Yeah, the one with the lips on it. But I remember one time, I think they had to use like a flat baking sheet, one without the lips on it, just a flat piece of metal. Like,
oh gosh,
yeah, that sounds dangerous.
That's like Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, something like that.
We used to have one of those old, I don't know what you call it, like an actual sled that had metal runners and kind of a wood top, like you see decorations now.
Yeah,
and there was kind of a little bar in the front that could wiggle a little bit.
You could kind of steer.
Yeah, and I think they had ropes on it even.
Oh yeah.
But our driveway was a slight slant, but we lived on a hill that went, I don't know, probably 15 houses downhill.
Yeah,
and so we go sledding down the street on this old wooden, I don't know what you call that thing. Toboggan.
Toboggan.
I don't know.
I think I would call it a toboggan. But I know what you're talking about.
Right now, it just looks like it looks like a Christmas decoration.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't actually take that.
Nobody uses those.
You use the plastic ones. Yeah. Like that one. That one's nice.
Yeah, so we'd go sledding on that.
I was on a toboggan too. It was like what you're describing, but without the metal. So it was wood and long and had the curly thing on the front of it. But we just like pulled it behind. Somebody was at a friend's house.
But these had like blades, like runners.
Yeah, no, I know what you're like. Those for like,
but I'm picturing,
high speed.
I know what you're picturing, the plastic one with the curve in the front.
But it was just wooden. So it was like a long wooden one. And like I was at a friend's house and they'd like hitch that to a snowmobile and we rode that around the yard. And you could get like 4 people on this thing and you're just, I don't know, like a train basically. You're driving around. That reminds me of a fun story. I mean, talking about snow, I'm just remembering a lot of memories now. Like, oh yeah, that and that and that. This was a high school. Wisconsin, the area I grew up was pretty semi-rural. But I had some friends who lived like way more rural, like way more farmland areas. And they had a lot of land. But in Wisconsin during the winter, like it's a lot of farmland, and that farmland just kind of during the winter is just empty, like flat, blank, like areas of nothing. It's just a bunch of snow and there's nothing else. So miles and miles of just empty snow. We went to like my friend's house and basically they had like a few snowmobiles. So we took snowmobiles out to this open acreage of snow and we hitched a tube to the back of the snowmobile, like one for water. And so we were like sitting in it, like, oh man, like it's really like you could really feel it on your butt, like like when you're riding this thing around.
awesome.
Like it's super fun. You're flying really fast. And it wasn't until like I think our friend got off, and we noticed like he was like missing the back of his like pants.
No.
And then we look at the tube, like it was
Just
scraped.
shredded.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
gosh.
scraped. I don't know how the tube survived, but like the part that's supposed to protect you from like underneath was just shredded, and his pants were just gone.
That's wild.
And so we ended up like, oh no, that's destroyed. So we ended up tying a plastic circular sled.
We used
to
a
the back of
kayak
it.
one time.
Oh, that would be fun.
Tied behind a car.
Behind a car. That's where you hit a mailbox and you just go flying. But we tied like a circular plastic disc. One you couldn't like, you had to like put your knees in to like to stay afloat. And I remember sitting on that, and we took a hard turn, and I just ate it and just and I was in so much pain. They ended up just like carrying me back to the house.
So when we lived in Omaha, it got cold there too. Real like windy, just deep wind chill. Some snow, a little bit of ice, but it was cold.
Yeah.
One time I was training for my first ultra marathon with two friends named Dave, and we went out to a park and we were running, and we had like those gels, like goo kind of food to eat.
Tube food.
And it was we'd have to put it before we ate one, we'd have to put it in our glove for
to
let
liquefy
it,
it?
to liquefy. And I had a waist belt with 4 bottles of water, little like 8-ounce bottles of water, and they froze. They like solid. So we had fluids for the first half of this run, and then the end is I was just carrying around a chunk of ice on my waist that I could
more weight.
Yeah, it's just more weight that I had no access to,
and no water.
Yeah, and even the goos. Yeah, like I say, you had to think about, when am I going to want this, and how long is it going to take to defrost it.
Do you turn back at that point? Like it's like you're running without water. I mean,
nah, we're fine.
Can you? I don't know. I did cross country for a little. I ran in the winter for a small period of my life. It was fine. It was cold. I didn't like it. But when you're doing like ultra marathon stuff in winter, do people eat snow to hydrate? Is that a thing?
I suppose you could.
But you didn't.
I haven't, no.
Okay. Like if you were really thirsty.
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay.
I feel like you're not managing your day pretty well if you've come to that point.
I mean,
Make better choices.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Like plan for it, but like if you were stuck in the wilderness.
Yeah. I've run through like waist, like probably knee deep snow, thigh deep.
Running, you're like just trotting. Like
I had my best marathon was after we had the big snow in Coeur d'Alene. I trained all winter, just working through snow, and then I flew to Phoenix to run. And it was flat, and there wasn't snow, and I was just like, I am amazing, which isn't that great of a time, by the way.
Comparable to like people who train in Kenya.
It was that was a good day, and we had yak tracks, these like things we'd put over our shoes so that you wouldn't slip on ice or snow.
So not like snowshoes, but like
no, it was basically like this web of black, like a rubber band, like a real thick rubber elastic thing with metal coiled around it, and you would stretch them on the outside of your shoes so that you could have traction.
So almost like spikes that you would like rubber spikes.
Yeah, kind of like like spikes for your kind
Okay.
of crampons almost, if like for hiking.
Man, that's the snow. It gives me I have so many stories now just coming to mind of a recent snow story, like less than a year ago, of Lauren and I summiting Mailbox Peak. And I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast.
I don't remember.
I can't remember. And I guess all's to say, this past year, it was April, May. It was April or May.
Yeah.
And there was like a really freak warm day that came out of nowhere. And like in like April, May, like in Washington, like
spring.
It's still like gray, wet and cold. And all of a sudden it got really warm one day, and it was a weekend day. So Lauren and I were like, we got to do a hike. So we wanted to do Rainier, but we were looking up. I was looking up everything.
And by
online.
do Rainier, you mean like just kind of explore parts of Rainier, not summit Rainier
we're
on
not
a whim.
Summiting Rainier, but we just wanted to go to a trail we haven't done on it, and we had the year pass that was still in effect. So we're like, we got to use it. But I was looking online like, oh, it's closed.
Probably the roads are closed.
Yeah, apparently it's still really snowy on that time at Rainier. And so we decided, let's do Mailbox. Okay. Yeah, so we were driving to Rainier, like, well, we're on this way, so let's just do Mailbox. Okay, so we go to Mailbox, and I see the sign that says, hey, people who hike this trail are frequently helicoptered out. It's very dangerous. Know your own risk. People get injured all the time. I saw it. Lauren didn't see it. So
did you point it out to her?
No. I did not want her to see it.
Hey, look over there. Yeah. Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, and this was the hard. So Mailbox now has 2 trails. It has the easy version and the hard version.
There's like a 10-mile with switchbacks, and then there's like a 3-mile straight up.
Yeah, and so we did the 3-mile straight up.
Oh, mercy!
And we wanted to do the switchback on the way down.
Okay,
so we're like, well, let's this because I feel like it'd be easier on our ankles to do it that way.
Also, it's not marked if you haven't done this trail.
It's just there's the triangles or
you're
something.
You're just going up.
You're going up and you're looking just for the small indicators on the trees that like, okay, I think you're going more. Basically, if you're going up, you're going the right way because this is legitimately a trail where like you are summiting a mountaintop. And so we start making our way up. We're feeling good. We're feeling cocky, and we see some hikers like going down. They've got poles and spikes on their feet, and they're like, "Hey, what are you guys? Where are you going?" And we're like, well, the top. They're like, "Do you guys have any poles or spikes?" We're like, "No, we're wearing shorts, and I'm wearing a cutoff,
like a tank top."
Yeah. And I was like, it was warm, like, and these people are like dressed in winter clothes. Like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, "Yeah, just there's plenty of snow." They're like, "Yeah, you guys aren't gonna make it." Like they told us that. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well,
challenge accepted.
Yeah, I'm like, don't tell me we're not going to make it. No, I want to, idiot. Yeah, I want to prove you wrong. And so we could keep going up. We start seeing snow. We're like, oh, snow. Let's take some pictures. Oh, how cool is that? And we keep going up. And we're like, oh, this is a lot of snow. And then we realized we still had a mile left.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we're not backing down now. So we keep going through the snow enough to the point where there's no trail anymore. You just kind of like, there's some footprints, right? And then we're following these footprints
up and away, and
these snows start becoming like caverns where like it accumulates over the rocks, and like if you take a step, oh, there's a hole here. Don't want to fall into that. So we like are basically climbing on all fours up this snowy bank.
Shorts and a tank top.
Yep, it's shorts and a tank top, trying to like intermittently like warm our hands, take a break.
Did you bring food and water?
We brought lunch for the top.
Okay.
So that was the plan, and we just didn't realize it would be that much of a gauntlet. So we finally get to the top. Easily the most gorgeous view of any trail we've hiked. It's like a 360 view. Yeah. You can see so much. You could see Seattle, Rainier, everything, and it's so incredible. Took some pictures, ate lunch. We make our way down, which was its whole trek of its own, because then it kept getting warmer, so the snow started to melt a little, more holes, like... I banged my knee pretty bad. I didn't break it though, so that's a win. So then we finally, like after a few hours, there was one spot too where it was like almost like a slide somebody had made with the snow. So we took this like slide.
They may have just biffed it and then like plummeted for a while.
They might have, but it was a
slide.
It was a slide for us. So we took it in our shorts again, and just like we're just cold and miserable. So we gave up at that point. And like as we're making our way down, we're like, we're gonna take the easy way down. It'll be a lot calmer. And then we start going. Like, I don't see it. And then we keep going down, and it gets to the point where like, oh, we definitely missed it. Well, here we go. We just became like a sprint basically at that point down. Just like we just want to be done. Like we just get back to the car. We made it, and it was just we weren't expecting that big of adventure from this, and just. The snow was such an unexpected part of that.
That's awesome.
I know it's snow days.
No,
it was kind of opposite of it, but the snow story I had to just cram in here because I'm like, it was so crazy when we did that.
We received, I think from my in-laws a few years ago, a like snowman bag of like facial accessories.
Like you could decorate your snowman.
Yeah,
kind
so
of thing?
it's like a bag, and there's it's wooden like eyes with a stick, and you shove the stick in, and it's got like carved eyes painted.
Yeah,
so
that
eyes
sounds
and
fun.
nose and mouth, maybe arms and buttons, and just all the fun accessories. And
Yeah.
a few years ago, my kids were making snowmen, and Charlotte sent me a picture that Titus had made his. And he put the smile in upside down. So it was like this super sad looking snowman. And I was like, why is he sad? And it was because he was off by himself. But so my older two, Alexis and Micah, built their snowman like kind of right next to each other, just kind of playing by each other. And then Titus had built his for some reason way
Just
off by
away.
himself. And then he realized, oh, that's really sad. And so he made him sad. And so you drove up to my yard, and there's these two happy snowmen, and then there's one just off by himself that just wasn't invited to the party.
Just frowning and just. Oh, that's amazing.
And then there's a picture of like Titus just like sad next to it, and that says a lot about my household, I suppose.
That's amazing.
We live in
hilarious.
right now Washington.
Yeah.
And it's dark here in the winter.
Yeah.
As people maybe have discovered. And so the sun doesn't come up very much anyway. Like it barely just kind of peeks over the horizon.
Yeah.
And depending on where you live, there's houses and trees as well. And so where my neighborhood is, my driveway does not see the sun for the winter. Like it kind of peaks up over the horizon and then goes down, but that's behind my house.
So it's always just shadow cast.
Yeah.
over.
So when it snows in my neighborhood, that snow is just there till spring. Like there's no plows.
Yeah,
I mean, Federal Way probably has a plow, but my neighborhood has never seen it. And so we live on a hill, so there's no plows, and it's a big hill. So most people are like, obviously, I'm not going to try to drive down this hill in the snow and just bumper car off everybody's parked in the street.
Yeah.
And so there's not a plow that removes the snow. There's not a lot of traffic that wears it down, and the sun never hits it. So
just
once it
trapped.
snows, like I'll see you in a few weeks, guys.
You guys are just trapped.
Yeah, that's where I am now.
What do you do to get home if, like, vice versa?
It's bad. I will find there's certain roads that are more traveled, so I'll try to find the more traveled. My car is just 2-wheel drive, so I'll take the van. We have a minivan; it's 4-wheel drive. So that just becomes the vehicle that the family
you have
uses.
to take. Yeah.
And I've got a couple turnaround points of if I can make this turn, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
You can get
and those
to
aren't
that
very
point.
far. So if I can make it, 800 meters from my door, I'm going to be fine in the rest of the city. But the 800 meters closest to my house, it's touching. Like there've been times where I'm like, I can't make this hill. I'm no way I'm going to be able to get out at this point.
Yeah.
Is it still can I still turn around and get home, or is this where the van's going to be for the next few
Just
days?
park it here.
Yeah, that's for real. And then same thing if I'm out or at work and it starts to snow, it's like I gotta go, guys, because if I don't get home now, I'm never getting up that hill. Because it's not just a hill; it's like a hill with a turn.
Yeah.
and so you can't even build up momentum.
Yeah, because you have to waste the energy to turn it, angle it.
Yes. So snow's gotten less fun as I've got. I don't mind working from home.
Yeah.
But the stress of driving has definitely taken some of the joy away from snow.
Yeah, it's especially Washington. It's just not equipped, at least in this Puget Sound area for
Yeah.
snow.
I got stuck last year, Christmas Day, going home from church.
Yeah.
Side of the road, and I had some reason. I think my wife and her sister went to maybe get food on the way home, so I had the kids and my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And it was just a super stressful ride all the way home. And we got maybe a mile out and then going up a hill, doing okay. But the person in front of me slowed down and I lost all my momentum. And then it's just, I'm going backwards down the hill now.
Yeah.
And so on the side of the road, trying to get it running start over and over again. And people stopped and helped me. I was so thankful. Some stranger
And
that came and gave me a push.
Did it have
Yeah,
help?
we got out of it. Yeah,
Okay.
but it took probably 45 minutes to an hour to get about a 10-minute drive, and then I got stuck.
Man.
So yeah, less fun now. Less fun.
Yeah, I feel like since moving to Washington, I've had like so many eventful stories with snow, and it's crazy to me because I don't know, like coming from Wisconsin to Washington, it's always just so comical to me. Like, this is all the snow. Like, it's not much snow.
It'll shut it down.
Yeah,
appropriately so. Like, stay off the roads.
Yeah. It was such a hilly place we live on. Like, plus no salt and plows. Like, yeah, I rightfully so. But it's just so weird. Like, like it's such little snow. I can't believe we're canceling things over this. Yeah.
So be safe out there, folks. Also, some humility. Every person I've ever met thinks wherever they grew up are the only people who know how to drive in the snow.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah.
Some people do. Some people are idiots. At the same time, just slow down. It doesn't matter if you have 4-wheel drive. It doesn't matter if you studded tires. Yeah. If ice is ice, and it doesn't care about where you grew up or what your skills are. It's slippery out there.
Just be safe. Yeah. Just be safe is the moral of the snow day.
Then again, we might not get any snow this year.
Yeah.
At least here.
I mean, from what I've seen I was watching some like reporter news guy on YouTube. Okay. He was saying, the West, this whole area of the Northwest is probably going to be a warm winter for us.
We've had flooding recently.
Yeah, it snowed, or it rained buckets yesterday, just all day. Yeah,
so if it snows, enjoy it. Be patient. Be patient with each other. If you see somebody in distress in a white Honda HR-V on the side of the road, please, I'd love your help. Or somebody else who might need some compassion too.
Or somebody else.
Shane, these are good stories. Thanks for sharing. I think we probably got a bit more we can unpack as the days unfold.
Yeah, so many.
So listeners, enjoy the snow. Share your snow stories with your neighbors, with your coworkers, with your family. Even if they were there with you, take a minute and reminisce. Ask people, and then listen of, hey, what was snow like when you grew up? What memories do you have?
Yeah.
People feel so valued when they're heard. Not just feel valued. You value people when you listen to them.
Yeah.
You care about people, so care about them by listening.
Yeah. And with that, listen to people's snow day stories. I don't know. In some ways, it might develop into a competition. People always try to one up one another. Like, oh, you had a bad snow day.
-40.
Yeah, just listen. Just listen to people tell their stories. Just listen and enjoy stories of snow. There's so many. Everyone has so many experiences and different memories with snow and ice and miserable times in the winter.
Yeah, and if we get some snow, or if wherever you live you get some snow, I think my one at least old man sounding encouragement is open the curtains and just watch it for a while. Like enjoy the quiet and the peace. There's a certain calmness that comes with the world being blanketed in a fresh layer of snow, and the sounds are dulled, and just let that be a reminder to take a breath and to enjoy some peace, even in the midst of crazy.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, Shane, thanks for being you. Thanks for taking time.
Yeah, you as well. And thank you, listeners, for listening. Keep the conversation going, and don't get snowed in.
Or if you do, make sure you have enough food.
Yeah,
bread and
water. On that toilet paper.
There you go. All right, until next time, take care.
See ya.
That's the end of the episode, but we want to continue the conversation. Continue the conversation by sharing this episode, subscribing, or leaving a review. Connect with us on Instagram at 2414podcast. Connect with us through email at 2414@stlukes-church.com. Or best of all, keep the conversation going by inviting someone to process with you, so that you can each walk away with more understanding that leads to more conversation as the journey continues. If you happen to be in the Seattle-Tacoma area of Washington, stop by on a Sunday morning and say hi. 2414 is a podcast produced by St. Luke's Lutheran Church in Federal Way, Washington. To find more content, discover upcoming opportunities to connect in person, or to support the show, head on over to stlukes-church.com. Thanks for walking with us.